Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is BK International Talent Scout on Rainier Avenue Radio. World. Rainier Avenue Radio is your community radio station and digital media hub. We are a 24/7 radio station multimedia network dedicated to amplifying diverse voices in our community like BK Presents radio podcast premiered on Sundays at 8 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 12:30 p.m. Rebroadcasted on Mondays at 10:30 and Fridays, y'all. We are on Fridays at 9 a.m. Can you please welcome famous author on Amazon, Mr. James Langston Jr. How are you doing today, James? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing amazing. It's a beautiful day. I can't complain. It's just amazing. I'm doing amazing. How are
Let's
you?
talk. I'm doing great. This is a pre recorded pre interview. Mr. James Langston will be at Rainier Avenue Radio Studios on Thursday when we will do the pre recorded interview, and then our producers will tell us when the broadcast will be aired on the radio station and also featured on YouTube. So you get a sneak peek of what we're going to be talking about. Let's talk about some of your children books that you have written. I believe you've written about 12 children books. And let's talk about the first one you've written, and let's talk about some of the other ones you've written.
The first book I wrote was called Maximus The Musical Elephant. And I wrote that in Afghanistan while I was working in Afghanistan on mission. Uh, I thought about it. I said, Dr. Seuss has Horton Hears a Who and Horton Hashes an Egg. I says, what can my elephant do? So I love music. And one of my favorite musicians is Louis Armstrong, saxophone. And I know the elephant had a trunk, so I said, you know what? He could be play like jazz. He can use his trunk like a trumpet, like Louis Armstrong. And I went to India. I was on vacation. I went to India and I saw the elephants there, and I sasaw the elephants in Nepal, and I came up with the idea with the name Maximus, the musical elephant. And then the story came about where the zoo tickets were starting to wean and go low, and they needed something to uh, pump the zoo back up where visitors would come and see the animals and keep the zoo alive. So I came up with the story Maximus the Musical Elephant. And the story goes he was eating and got a peanut stuck in his trunk. And when he blew it out, musical notes came out. And then he knew that he could play music. And so because of that phenomenon, people came to visit the zoo, and he ended up saving the zoo, and he became a great musician. That was my first book, Maximus the Musical Elephant. And yeah, I love
Wow,
that
that
book.
is a great background story to your first book. Now, please tell our listeners where they can pick this book up at.
Well, you can pick that book up at on Amazon. I'm working on the site right now, getting the site design, but most of my books are on sale at Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, it will come to you quicker. But you can go there on Amazon and you just type in Maximus the Musical Elephant by James Langston Jr. and it will come up. And like I said, it's my first book. So, I mean, so much has changed since then. But I'm writing so much more. But there are two books to that one. First one is called Maximus the Musical Elephant. The second one is called Maximus Starts a Band.
Wow, nice. Let's talk about something we have all done. I left the faucet on.
Yes, yes. I left the faucet running. There's actually like a four-book series in that, but yes, it's let the faucet running. I remember as a kid, I would leave the faucet running all the time So, and I would get in trouble. My mom would be like, "Turn that water off." Nobody wants a high water bill. So I used to
Right?
leave the faucet on all the time, and I would get in trouble. So one day I was sitting there, I was like, I don't have writer's block. I just run out of ways to say things, but there's always a way to say it. So I was like, man, I left the faucet running. And I was looking at the faucet, and I was like, I remember I used to do that. So I came up with the title. I left the faucet running. That became a book title for a series called Left the Faucet Running. So I wrote that, and then I came up with other books. I mean, with other poems or other pieces that coincided with the theme of a kid leaving the faucet running and going to school the whole day and different things like if I were class president. And but yeah, I use my senses to come up with material, and a lot of things that I write about actually came about from when I was younger. Like I said, leaving the faucet running. So yeah, that one that's a series, like a full book series in that one. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. Now there's another series about amazing machines.
Yes, yes. Amazing Machines. So as a kid, I like many kids are like blown away by like diggers and dump trucks and garbage trucks and fire trucks. And so I wanted to create a series on that called Amazing Machines. And the first I was in Baghdad working at the embassy where they're building a new embassy in Erbil, Iraq. And I start seeing those the construction vehicles around, and I said, you know what? Let me let me write something about this, and I'll call it Amazing Machines. So the first piece I wrote in that was called the crane, and the crane, it has the lifting power, and it helps the men because without a crane, it'll take a long time for the men to get the supplies they needed to the different parts of the building or around the construction site. So it's about all kinds of different machines, but the crane was the first one I wrote about that. And I'll do the poem. It's called The Crane. Above the city, nice and high, it raises buildings to the sky. It's very simple, but it's plain. But the power is mighty of the crane. It's taller than a zoo giraffe and cuts a project time in half because it has a special gift, a strong arm with a massive lift. It's ready to do any task that the construction crew may ask. It's not a spaceship or a train. This amazing machine is called the crane. So that's it.
Oh man, that is so good. You're so inspiring that you write all these books outside of the USA. Are there any books that you've written inside the USA?
Yes, I've written many like I wrote the bedtime rhymes. I have there are two bedtime rhyme books, and it's about books that help kids or anyone who wants to sleep. It just calms you down, and it's like that bedtime stories or poetry, if you will, because everybody has to sleep, and even the animals they sleep. And then I'm busy right now on the phone. Uh, yes, so it has books like that about different things, and so it's called bedtime rhymes 1 and 2, and then there's a book I wrote called Donuts for Breakfast because I love donuts. I love the sweets. I
Ah,
love donuts.
donuts for breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, and it kind of starts. I'll say like two lines from it's like donuts for breakfast, and donuts for lunch. Donuts for breakfast with coffee or punch. It's like that. It's kind of fun, and it rhymes all at the end, telling you about why you like donuts. And then also, there's one that calls "I've Got a Ton of Work to Do." It's about homework and different chores and
Oh
things that a
yeah,
kid would
I
have to
got
do.
a
Yeah.
ton of work to do.
Yes.
Wow. So you being an independent author, your books are available on Amazon so they can look up your name, James Langston Jr.
Yes.
Okay. Uh Also, and you're under African American books and children books?
It may be under that, but I have my own publishing company. I'm an independent author, and it's called J Reads Publishing. But I'm getting the site designed and everything. It's just taking a while trying to find a good designer. And but once that kicks off, I'll send that out and I'll put a link to that in the Amazon in my Amazon profile. But yes, that's the big way right now that can be found on Amazon. And I also do readings at schools. I'm getting ready to do a reading pretty soon this month, my first reading of the year. So I'm excited about that. And I'll do readings in
Nice.
libraries and stuff. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Well, we hope that you'll be able to do a reading at the Seattle Public Library.
yes,
It,
that would be awesome.
they have one downtown Seattle, and they have about 10 or 20 branches throughout the city. So I know you'll be a big hit. And also, they have readings at the Bellevue King County Library, which is very
Oh, that would be nice.
popular. So we hope that you can do these readings. Um, what inspired you to want to do readings at coffee shops and libraries and churches? What
Well,
inspired you to go live at these places?
well, when I was a kid, I remember going to the same places and being read to, and in schools and different things. But I remember the feeling. It was just so amazing to sit there and hear somebody read books that we loved. And we've been read to as kids. We'd have our little mats or sit in our chairs, and someone would come and just read a book, and it was magical. There was something magical about books. Because with a book, you don't have to get inside a car, you don't have to get on a plane, you don't have to get in a boat, you don't have to wear a crown, you have to be in the battle, but it can take you into the battle. You can go anywhere, see anything, and be anybody because of a book. When you open up a book is a magic key to any adventure that you would love. And that's what a book is. A book is amazing. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be, whatever you want to see, or any adventure, it's in a book. Somebody had to write it. It's put it in a book. Yeah.
Wow. Well, this is our pre interview. The official interview will be on Thursday. I will get the time from the program producers. Book author James Langston Jr. will be doing a 27-minute interview. We're going to find about all his books, all his writings, and what things inspired him to write. Thank you for being on the pre show, and we'll see you next week.
Yes. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
God bless you.